All right, Biz, we broke the internet there with Leigh Mayock.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, we had Patrick Peterson ready to join us, and as we said goodbye to Leigh, we lost our connection. So hopefully we didn't lose our viewers. I'm sure people are like, what is going on with these two chin-chins? Boom. So
Boom.
Lindsay will let me know when we have Patrick Peterson lined up and ready to go. But on the menu tonight is pizza. I think Leigh really liked the I think she really enjoyed it. Hey, listen, Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for all your sports betting needs. Baseball season, full swing. Into the home stretch for the NBA and NHL playoffs. More ways to stay in on the action. Latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. Largest selection of odds, everything MLB, NHL, UFC. BetOnline remains the number one online source for all your sports wagering info. In between, head on over to the BetOnline Casino. Top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here. So we appreciate Leigh Mayock taking a couple minutes to join us here on the program. We are back up and running live here on the Mangia Cast. I got the Rodney Strong. You got the Dow.
And Chin, I got the Dow. Hold on.
Now we're going to welcome in a future Hall of Famer who announced his retirement from the National Football League on Monday. 8 straight Pro Bowls, voted to the All-Decade Team of the 2010s, played with the Vikings and Steelers as well. And my broadcast partner at Sirius XM NFL Radio, Patrick Peterson. Welcome you to the Mangia Cast.
What up, guys?
Chin,
Patrick,
chin.
how you doing, my man? Chin.
Chin.
Chin, chin.
All right, Patrick, what are you drinking right there? Come on.
I told you what I was going to be having. Some Camus, baby.
The audience needs to know. Camus.
Yeah. Camus Select 19.
Man, you just told me you started getting into wine.
And
you're starting at Camus?
Yeah, I guess my palate is a little expensive, I guess.
Kind of like your game, man. Kind of like
your game. Hey,
you know what it is? His wine tastes are like his football career. All pro all the way.
Well, Pop, he came in with a bang in the NFL, right? What do you have? 4 pick sixes and punt returns and all kinds of shit going on your rookie year. So you might as well do the same thing with the wine, right, Pat? What the hell?
No doubt about it.
So Patrick, thanks for joining, brother.
Man, thanks for having me. And when Bob asked me today if I was able to join, I said that's a no-brainer, man. I'll be there. Just tell me the time, and I'm on.
I want to congratulate you too, Patrick. I know you officially announced your retirement. I know Arizona had a nice little thing for you, well-deserved. So congratulations on what is going to be, without question, a Hall of Fame career.
Man, I appreciate it, Chris. And now I'm getting to spend a little bit more time with Bob. I hope he's not getting tired of me just yet.
Nah, it's only 1 day a week. We're good. Hey, share with our audience what went into that decision to not pursue trying to play anymore.
Just, being away from the game for a year, I was working out here and there, but as the time started going on, that fire started to dwindle more and more. You know what I mean? And I always told myself if I didn't have the urge of working out or being able to put whatever effort I need to put into being the best player that I can be, my time was done. You know what I mean? And that's what it was last year. I know, like, physically and mentally I can still play, but I don't feel like putting my body through the stressful off seasons and the treacherous workouts and the conditioning tests and all that stuff. Like, I guess my body was like, I'm over that. So whenever I lost that, it's time for me to walk away.
Patrick, covering the Giants, talking to some veterans who retired, they said, you know what, Chris, it's not the Sunday afternoons. It's the grind. It's the grind. It's the meetings. The of being an 8-9 year veteran, it's just not there anymore. Some guys told me, it's just, hey, I'll always be up for the Sunday afternoon, 1 o'clock, walking out of the tunnel. But it's that point of getting up to those Sunday afternoons that's like I just said, Patrick, the meetings, the practices, the whole grind is what I guess kind of gets, should I say old or stale or just not there anymore for
it's just not.
yourself?
I just feel like it's just mentally, you're just like, man, do I really have to do this? You know what I mean?
Right.
I've been doing this for so long. Like you said, it's not the Sundays or game day. It's the Monday through Saturday. You know what I mean? Not only, like you said, practice and getting recovery, but film studies after you leave the building. You know what I mean? Being in the building, meetings at 8:30, but me being a veteran that I was in there at least an hour and a half before the meetings started, because I wanted to work out, get through my routine and my regimen before before the day got started. So it was just things like that. It was just like, man, I don't really feel like doing this anymore.
Patrick, on the menu tonight, and with Leigh Mayock, I showed her how to make margarita pizza. Tonight, pizza is what I made. I remember doing the show with Shannon Sharp and on Sirius when we were together, and I remember him telling me, he goes, Pop, I haven't had ice cream in years. There's so many things that I want to eat that I just will not allow myself. Maybe a little bit in the off season, I may have a little cheat here or there, but my body is my office. And you and I talked about this on the show today. You played every game of every season with the exception of 2 years. 1 year you only made it to 10. Another year you made it to 13. But in all the other years that you played in the league, 16 of 16, 16 of 16, 17 of 17.
Yeah.
What kind of sacrifice was that as far as your body is concerned and what you put in it to make sure that you never were really ever out of shape?
Yeah, and that's was one of the things that came into that decision as well. Having to go see my chiropractor, getting, my body work, going to see a massage therapist, getting home, around 7:30, 8:30, barely getting to see my kids, go to bed. And next thing you know, when I wake up, they still sleep because I'm walking out of the door. You know what I mean? So as I got older, I wanted to be more, a part of that. So the sacrifices that I had to deal with and go through during my stint in the NFL was, and how I made sure that I was always available was doing the necessary things that I felt that I needed to do to be available, doing things that other guys didn't feel like doing. You know what I mean? So, and that's why I was able to be available for the majority part of my career, because like I said, I was doing body work around the clock. I had a schedule for massage after the game, Thursdays before the game. Getting in a cold tub, hot tub. I had a hyperbaric chamber. Getting an infrared sauna. It's just things like that I felt that I needed to do to make sure that I was always available.
Patrick, we're a week away from the draft, and take us through what it was like for you leading up to the draft. The excitement, did it build up a lot for you? Were you anxious? You knew you were going to be a high pick, but you didn't know where you were going to go. Maybe you had an idea. Not the Bengals, from what I understand. No, I'm only kidding. I heard the show today, PP. I heard the show today. That's why I'm mentioning. Anyway, that's an inside thing, folks.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It was on the radio today. I asked him about pre-draft visits, and he kind of beat around. He goes, well, there was one place where the cafeteria was a basketball court. And I'm like, maybe I really don't want to get drafted by them. And then he had me guess on the air, and I came up with the Bengals eventually.
Patrick, it was pretty funny because when you would talk about, I text Papa quick and I said, I bet she's talking about the Browns. And then you kind of went in another direction. I'm not going to get into it, but anyway, Patrick, what
you said close when I said Cleveland. Yeah, I just kept it in state. I'm not exactly Columbo here.
Yeah, no, it's not exactly detective first grade stuff in. Anyway, Patrick, what was it like for you, man, going up to the day of the draft that now these young kids, these young men, I should say, are going through now?
Man, Chris, it was it was so amazing. I wasn't really anxious, but I was super, super excited because, like you said, I knew I was going to be a high pick. because of the accolades and things I was able to do in the combine and things I was able to do in my collegiate career. You know, so for the most part, I knew I was going to be a high pick, so the anxiety wasn't really there for me. It was more excitement than anything, you know. So I had no clue where I was going, to be quite honest with you, because I had shared this story in my speech when I was in Arizona Monday. Like, I had no connection with the Arizona Cardinals, like zero throughout my draft process, like none. I never even been to the state of Arizona. I never even knew their area code when they called me. I was just thrown off guard, you know. So for the most part, man, I was super, super excited to have, you know, my family there with me. My wife she wasn't my wife then, but she was my girlfriend at the time, but she was there with me. My grandfather, you know, I had a couple cousins, Brian McFadden, who had an opportunity to get drafted a couple years before me, you know, so it was a dream come true.
All right, so let's fast forward to now. You got yourself the Camus. You're enjoying that. Doesn't have to be Italian, even though it's called the Mangia Cast. But what is a Patrick Peterson? What is a go-to, or what was a go-to Patrick Peterson cheat meal when you were just gonna really eat something that you knew probably not the best thing to eat as I'm training?
You said it doesn't have to be Italian, but
No.
I do love pasta. Give me a nice chicken Parmesan.
Yeah,
That's
my
I
number
made
one
that
too.
on the show a few weeks ago.
Give me a nice chicken Parmesan, man.
I made that a few weeks ago on the show.
You know, Bob, I don't think I ever told you this, but I'm kind of a chef as well. My wife got me this 8-class package for Christmas about a while ago when we lived in Arizona. So, like, now I may have to send you over a couple pictures of the things I'm able to do here at the house. But I love to make.
What do you
pasta.
like to make?
Man, I love pasta. So we with my wife being from New Orleans, we make a nice Mardi Gras pasta, chicken Parmesan. I like a short rib pasta. We just got a umi, so I'm learning how to get the pizza. I don't want to get the pizzas from, like, you know, Whole Foods and things like that. I want to learn how to make my own dough so it can really be authentic and have my handprints pretty much all over it.
All right,
Show them the video. Show
I
them the video,
make the dough. I didn't make the dough, but I had it flown down here to Florida from Frank and Sal's on Staten
You gotta send
Island.
me some. You gotta send me some.
Yeah, I mean, I'll send you the link. I mean, it's. Listen,
I just flew the dough down from Brooklyn. Look at the elasticity of this thing. Boom, flour going everywhere.
Wow.
All right,
Patrick, that's the key.
Linz, let's show them the sausage and pepperoni pizza. Let's show them
Just
the
a
sausage.
little bit more oregano.
So I made the
Very sweet.
sauce.
Now
It's
I got
very
my
easy to
cheese.
make.
Yeah.
You just season it with a couple
Just like the
things.
original pizza.
Now you always
My own
shred the cheese.
because if
Like,
you
I
buy
got a
the
block of
pre-grated,
whole milk
no bueno.
mozzarella, and I shredded it
Just
myself. Don't buy the
get
stuff
this
in the
on
bag
here.
that's pre-shredded.
I agree.
See the margarita pizza on the right?
Distributing the
I
love,
see
was-
that.
if you
That looks
will,
good, Bob.
pizza. I'm putting a little extra on this one. So this one.
Yeah, but I will say we got to get a little bit cleaner. Like, I don't like the sauce all over the place like that, Bob.
Yeah, I was rushing. This was the third
Sweet
one.
Italian
So
sausage.
I took
Took it out
some
of the
sweet
case.
Italian sausage,
Okay.
sliced it
I
open,
just browned it.
removed it from the casing,
Put that on
crumbled
there.
it up, and
Nice.
then I just browned it a little bit. You don't want you can't put that on there raw. And then to get some of the oil out, you just put it in the paper towel.
Whatever
It's
you have
easy.
left over,
Yeah.
you can use. Like put
Patrick,
it in the
looks
paper
good,
towel,
right?
a lot
That
of
looks
the grease
amazing.
Out of it. Your pepperoni. Listen, I'm not bullshitting anybody here. It's
Said, listen.
previously sliced pepperoni.
So the key thing is, like on the margarita pizza, you throw a little olive oil on it. This one you cannot put olive oil on it because
And why
between the
not?
sausage and the pepperoni, you'll have an oil slick.
Ah.
It's going to release enough oil for you. The only oil I'll put on this, I think I show it here, is I drizzle some oil just on the crust, just to give it that golden
Yeah.
brown look.
I don't want
Yeah.
any olive oil on the pizza because it's gonna.
I guess I
But I
just
want some
told
on the
Patrick
crust.
that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just
So I use
drizzle
I don't
some
have
oil
a pizza oven,
just on the
but I
Okay.
have two really good
Gives it that
high-end
really
pizza
nice
stones, and you get the oven up to 490,
flavor
and you
to
let
it.
those stones heat,
Put in the
And
There you go.
depending on how much you have on top of the pizza, sometimes you have to pre-cook the dough a little bit. So you'll put the dough on the stone just to get the bottom firmed up a little bit, because when you put all those toppings, sometimes the top cooks too fast and then the bottom is soggy.
Wow.
So Linz, let's show them the meat pizza when it came out. See what Pat, I think even Patrick would take a slice of that.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
That looks damn good.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. That looks good.
That
looks really good.
Well, next time I'm in your neighborhood, well, I'm gonna have to come in and bring some pizza dough from Staten Island.
Please do, and we'll definitely find the umi in the backyard. I have it. It's already. I got my stones. I got my my wood. I got my firebomb starter. I'll be ready to roll.
But like anything else, like you were organic in where you came from and became what you became.
Mm-hmm.
As you well know with cooking, since you're now you've gotten into cooking, you took the cooking classes, right? Yep. You want to make your own dough. Start making my own pasta. You could go to the store and buy the tomato pizza sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Just get some tomatoes. Just get some tomato sauce and season it yourself with some fresh ingredients. And grate your own cheese. It ain't that hard to sit there and grate it. I mean, get a little exercise in.
There you go. You're retired now. Patrick, you're retired now. You have the time.
I know, right?
You don't have to worry about OTAs, training camp, all that crap. You're retired
and,
now.
and that's why I got into cooking, because now I have to worry about feeding my kids.
All right, in your opinion, Travis Hunter, DB first, wide receiver second, or wide receiver first, DB second? And if you were going to play him on both sides of the ball, where would he play full time in your eyes?
He'll play full time defensive back for me, just because I feel like he will be more. He'll be able to control his own fate. In my opinion, I really feel like he doesn't need much to help him be successful on the defensive side of the ball versus if he was on the offensive side of the ball. Like, he's going to be a top 5 pick, and most of the top 5 teams don't have quarterbacks. That's why they're in the top 5. So there's going to be you need a quarterback, you need an offensive line, and at least a decent enough running game to take some of the pressure off of you. And with all of those elements have to be able to align for him to be successful. I just think that's going to be a little tougher for him. So I will start him off when I draft him as a defensive back, to where, since he already have the offensive mind and the offense of intuition, now we can have him on the team's best receiver or the team's best player and taking them out of the ball game, because he already played that side of the ball. And now we can move him on the offensive side of the ball, have him maybe like a 10 to 15, maybe even 20 play, stripped or whatnot, and have him change the game on that side of the ball as well, because now he'll be able to manipulate defensive players, because now he's in that room full time. So those are just my thoughts. If I was a GM, I'll draft him as a cornerback and just have a small package for him on the offensive side of the ball.
Patrick, speaking of quarterbacks, tell me if you agree with me. It seems like there's a lot of people around the NFL that are looking to tear down Shador Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
There's always nitpicking at something. Last week, something came out. I want to get your opinion on this, considering you're going to Hall of Fame as a cornerback. He was tapping the ball a few times at his pro day. And you hear people around the league, even a safety in the NFL who's now on the Jets, say, oh, he does that. I'm jumping the route. I'm reading. Pick for me, easy. Patrick, I think that's just another example of a lot of people looking to tear this kid down. I don't think it's right for Shedeur. Does he have some warts like everybody else does, Patrick? But what's your opinion on him? And could you give me an opinion, considering you had like 37, 38 interceptions in your career, whatever it was, right around that number, about the tap before he throws?
First of all, I never looked at a quarterback and even noticed him tapping the ball before he releases the football. Like, that's just insane. Like, I don't know what safety. You can ask Ed Reed. You can ask Troy Polamalu. You can ask Charles Woodson. You can ask anybody. Like a quarterback, every quarterback pats the ball for the most part. If they have a clean pocket and before they throw the ball, majority of the quarterbacks across the league tap the football. It's just almost like second nature to them. You know what I mean? So I thought that was a bit bizarre. And I just hate the fact how they're really, really nitpicking at him, because I really feel like Shedeur is a great leader. You know, I only had the opportunity to watch him from afar, but I love how it, even if it's all going bad, he takes all of the responsibilities. He's never pointing a finger at anyone. And next thing you know, he comes out and still put up great numbers to help his team come out victorious in whatever game that they're playing. So I really feel like he's a winner. He's a guy that understands it's not necessarily pressure, but the moments. A lot of quarterbacks, a lot of young quarterbacks don't have that privilege to have a dad who was in the spotlight like a prime, who seen and done a lot of things that these young guys are trying to do. So he's kind of been there, done that, and understand how to operate under the bright light. So I love his persona. I love everything about him. I love how he carries himself. And I can't wait to see how his NFL career is going to turn out.
Do you think a lot of this is because of his dad, Patrick? You think a lot of people, look at his dad and didn't like his flamboyancy, whatever you want to call it, and say, and now the kid is a big personality too. And a lot of people look at it and go, I'm going to stay away from that.
Yeah, probably, a lot of, I mean, I don't know, how would, if someone really, have that much confidence within themselves, and not only having the confidence in themselves, but going out there and actually doing what they said they was going to do. You know what I mean? There's a difference if you had like, if Muhammad Ali talked as much trash as he did, rest his soul, and he didn't win, would he still be, the greatest fighter of all time or the greatest trash talker of all time? Probably not. You know what I mean? So you have to be able to back up some of the things that you're putting out there. And Prime was able to do that. Shedeur is doing that as well. You know what I mean? So it's almost like you can hate him or you can love him.
Patrick, just kind of circling back, this whole thing for you, thinking about your younger days. In your wildest dreams, did you ever think it would go as well as it did?
Bob, that was always my dream. For me to have the career that I had. I mean, we can go back and ask my dad, my mom, my siblings, my friends, like everything that I was able to achieve, that's what I set out for myself, as far as being a multiple-time Pro Bowler, making the All-Pro team, being a member of the All-Decade team, having been voted a captain amongst your peers, having the C on your chest. You know what I mean? You don't see many cornerbacks that have the C on their chest, so that meant a lot to me. So in my wildest dream, to answer your question, Bob, yes. And that's not to be, arrogant or, to toot my own horn, but every dream that I had when I was a kid, man, it pretty much all of them came into fruition. You know what I mean? So it's almost like I saw it before. I just needed to do what I needed. I just needed to do what I was supposed to do as far as being eligible when I was in high school and in college, doing what I needed to do to have, a clean slate when I got in, when I was going through the draft process. And next thing you know, just stay on a straight line and put in the hard work and dedication, and everything else will take off. And that's what it did.
Patrick, who was the best quarterback you ever played against?
The best quarterback. I'll have to go again. I would have to say Tom Brady.
Why?
Tom Brady was the best.
Besides the obvious, why, Patrick?
He was just never out of a game. And he wasn't he wasn't as chirpy at the line of scrimmage as a Peyton Manning, but he always knew, and Peyton Manning did. Peyton Manning did too. He always knew what we were in, but I just felt like Tom Brady's arm was just a little bit stronger. I just felt like Tom just had a little bit more of that winning in him, no matter what was going on. You know what I mean? So I only faced Tom Brady twice in my career. I think I'm 1-1 against him. but just having an opportunity to game plan against a Tom Brady was tough because we knew he was going to get everyone involved in the ball game. He wasn't going to have just one favorite target. You knew that he was always going to be in the ball game. So no matter what the score was, you had to play a 60-minute ball game. Right. And just the fire and the passion that he played with, man, it was just unbelievable to watch up close in person.
All right, speaking of winning, and we're gonna get you out of here. I know Charlie Weiss scared you, but speaking of winning, listen, you played your early part of your first part of your NFL career in Arizona. You can't be in Arizona and be in the greater Scottsdale area without playing golf. Where did that passion come from, and how fired up were you to watch Rory McIlroy do what he did on Sunday?
First of all, I was going to say we kind of called that because the week before, remember, we was on the phone with Tyler and we was talking about Taylor, and we was talking about who we wanted to win, and our thoughts on what was going to take for him to win, and kind of everything came into fruition. We said we wanted Rory to win, and if he was going to be able to maintain his composure when he got in trouble, and he did a great job of that. But I got the passion when I got to Arizona because I was drafted in the year of the lockout, so I wasn't able to go to the facility. Me and my girlfriend at the time, but she's my wife now. We looking for a property, trying to find somewhere to stay, and everywhere we went, we saw a golf course. Literally everywhere we went, there was a golf course here, golf course there. It was some places that had 2 golf courses. Like, I never heard of this before. Like, some places had 2 golf courses at the same spot. So I'm like, dang, man, like this, something's I might have to get into this game of golf. Then my wife ended up starting medical school. So now I'm home all day after practice by myself. I'm home all day after workouts. Just me and our 2 dogs, Romeo and Louie. We got a Yorkie and a toy poodle. So it's just us 3 at the house. While my wife Angelique is away at school. I was like, man, I got to find something to do. So I picked up some clubs, went to the driving range. 7-9 was the first club that I hit. I hit it straight. I was like, oh, okay, this game is kind of easy. Found out that it wasn't that easy. Then the bug bit me. And next thing you know, that's when I started to take on this golf journey.
So you got a handicap, Patrick? What's your handicap?
I used to see him in Tahoe.
Yeah.
And he got better and better and better. Every year he came back bigger, better, and stronger.
Yep. I'm a 5, Chris. My handicap is a 5.
A legit 5.
Legit 5.
Well, there's 2 kinds of handicaps. There's the cheating handicap, which is the guy that's like, I'm a 9 or I'm a 10, and they take all your money.
Right.
And then there are some athletes, because we see it in a lot of these events that we have, like the PGA Tour champions. We just had actually Tim Brown won it, partnering with the PGA Tour champions players 2 weeks ago. But then you got some guys, and they have the vanity handicap.
Right.
You watch him play, and you're just like, dude, there
No
is
chance.
no way he is a 4. There's no way he's a 4.
No way.
Right.
Right off the first tee box, right, Patrick?
Right.
You can tell, like, this guy's so full of shit. He's no 4 or 5 handicap.
Yeah, it's hard to be a 4 when you're reloading and just not.
No doubt about it.
Yeah.
And you can't be raking putts from 4 feet.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Because ask Rory about. You wish he could have raked that last putt.
Oh man, that's hilarious right there. But you hit it right on the head though, Pop. About there's a legit handicap and there's a fluff handicap.
Right, and there's a vanity handicap. Which is
the
also,
vanity handicap. Yep, in the vanity handicap.
You got to be rich to play with a vanity handicap because you're going to lose a lot of money if you're saying you're a 4, but you really play to an 8.
Oh
yeah,
man,
you're gonna lose a lot of money. Yep.
You
go to Lake Tahoe and we could say on the air, hey, Roger Maltby, well, he's a 4 handicap. And then he just hit like 4 in the Lake Lambeer.
He's a forever.
Yeah, forever. Patrick, I just want to bring up one more video for you.
Okay.
Lindsay, you got
Reggiano. So now we want to get the fresh Reggiano because it's chicken parm. So we get this on here. Just bang through it. I know it's going to stick a little bit. It's like snow. It's Italian snow. Fresh Reggiano. I think we cheesed.
The Italian snow.
You like that, huh?
I love that, man. That looks amazing.
Yeah, the carbonara was really good. I'll send
Man,
you.
you got to send me that link, Bob. I really want to get that dough.
I'll have Lindsay send you. We have all just. The
I'll get it.
Clips.
Patrick,
Okay.
I'm from Staten Island. I'm going to be going to that place. I'll take care of it. We'll take care of it. I
Get
just
some
a friend
dough
just
sent.
a friend of mine. What?
Well, you'll get some dough sent to Patrick.
Oh, I think you said that was bullshit. I was gonna go, what'd you say? So yeah, a friend of mine just texted me back from Staten. Goes, yeah, I know the place is up at Holland Boulevard and
Okay.
all that stuff. So we'll take care of it.
Okay, I need that, man. I appreciate
Get
it,
you some
Chris.
dough sent down. Yeah, some dough sent down here, and obviously you too, Bob. We'll take care of it, buddy.
That's right. So what we're going to do is we'll get you back on the show. Lindsay said she's going to send you some links
Okay.
to some of the cooking shows. You can watch how to make a cacio e pepe, which is the easiest thing in the world to make.
Okay. Yeah, send it over to me. And
We'll send it to you.
maybe I can get a link or something on the little spot on the show.
Yeah, we'll get you cooking in your new
Let's do
stove.
it. Yes, sir.
All right. Listen, Mr. Camus, chin chin on a great career.
Yep. Patrick,
We
congratulations
appreciate you
again,
dropping
brother,
in
on your
on us.
retirement. Yep.
Appreciate it, guys.
Great corner. Be
Yeah.
good.
Life's too short to drink cheap wine.
Yes, sir.
Patrick is starting right at the top.
Yeah, he's
We
going right to the
appreciate it,
top, huh?
All right,
All right, we'll
guys.
talk next
Patrick,
week.
take care, brother. Peace.
How you too.
The great
Bye-bye.
Patrick Peterson joining us here on the Mangia Cast.
What a football
You know-
player he was, brother. Woof.
You know, I got to know him doing the on NBC, the American Century. And yeah, he was pretty new to the game, but you could see that he was determined. And I remember Roger Maltby walking the range, and you see the Ray Romanos, and you see all the different guys. Barkley, of course, holding court, doing his thing, and Larry the Cable Guy, and then you got the hockey players and the Mark Mulders of the world who got a chance to win. Romo was great. And every year Patrick came back, and you could see his golf game was more refined. And I always said, look, the guy's an all-pro athlete. He's been a winner at every stage. You think he's going to let golf beat him?
Oh, no way. The competitive spirit of the great ones like him. There's no way. That dude probably went to the range 5 times a week and worked on his game. You know that. That's the great
being in
still, Pop.
Arizona. All right, so listen.
Yeah.
Our stream
There's a
got
couple things I
cut
want
off.
to talk about. There's a couple things I
Our
want to talk
stream
about.
got cut off
Yeah.
after we said, I mean, Leigh Mayock literally broke the internet.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Sheila signed off and the internet crashed.
Yeah.
We got it. Lindsay got it back up for Patrick. But I had asked you about Joe Schoen's presser today. And
Yes.
you had a couple other things you wanted to get off your chest. So feel
Yeah,
free.
I find one thing fascinating, but we'll talk about Joe Shane's presser today. So what did I get away? What did I take from it? Well, basically what Joe's been saying, Pop, that he's not going to force it. He's not going to force a quarterback, even though the Giants need a future quarterback. Okay. So if he's graded that high, if they have him that high as a 3rd overall pick, they'll go with him. If they don't, they're going to go with Travis Hunter or Abdul Carter. And one thing I took away from this too today is that, everybody's automatically assuming Shane is going to take a quarterback somewhere in his draft. Well, I kind of got the impression a little bit today that that's not definite. Come that 3rd round or so, whoever they have on the board at the time when their pick comes up, if Mr. X is graded higher than Kyle McCord, they're going to go with Mr. X, and they're not going to force it.
Which
That's
is
the impression I got from Joe, which he
So
should
with
be
that-
doing.
let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
I think with Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston there, to me, it almost listen, I know nothing. But it would seem to me that if you are going to go by the grade, there is no way that Shador Sanders could possibly have the same grade as either Abdul Carter or Travis Hunter.
Yeah.
Right?
I I agree. Yes.
Quarterbacks always get pushed up. But I don't think the grade could be close based on that part of it. So it leads me to believe they're not taking Shador Sanders if Cleveland doesn't take him.
That's the feeling I'm getting. That's the tea leaves I'm reading. Yes. And look, I got to be honest with you, Bob. When Joe says that, I'm not going to mortgage the future picks. I'm not going to take it. I'm not going to force anything. I believe him. I believe him. I don't think he's going to force anything, and I don't think he's going to mortgage any future picks and trades and all that stuff. I personally think, they're going to get a very good player. I don't think Abdul Carter's injury history with his shoulder that's healing and the foot that he just didn't even know about, I think he's going to be cleared. I don't think there's going to be any issues with that. So one of them is going to be a New York Giant next Thursday night at about 8:40 or so, in my opinion, or 8:45.
Yeah, and Cleveland's not trading out of the 2 spot because, everybody says the same thing. These 2 players, Hunter and Carter, are potential generational Hall of Fame type players. They have the projection of that.
Mm-hmm.
And you're not trading out of that position. So, yeah, the Giants are going to get a swing at one of those 2 guys, which is good. And then, like you said, they're not going to reach in the other rounds based on their board. Because, if you notice something, and I know this pisses off a lot of Giant fans, and I'm getting a little tired of it.
Go ahead.
And even some of the media. The Tommy DeVito slander. The Goomba from New Jersey, and it's a start. Listen, these guys are fighting for their jobs. Tommy DeVito was on the roster last year, not because he was a story. He was on the roster because the head coach and the GM believe that there's something to that player as a developmental player. And I've said this time and time again. I think I mentioned it on the podcast last week with Coach Weiss or whomever. I almost think that Tommy DeVito right now is being unfairly criticized for being Italian and playing for the Giants, and that people would perceive what he's done in games, which, by the way, what's he, 3-4 as a starter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's a lot of these guys that have bounced around the NFL for 10 years that have shitty records as starters.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was with Phil. Lindsay said it was with Phil Simms on the Believe in Giants podcast.
Okay.
And, I think now it's the chicken cutlets, Tommy Cutlets thing. I think that there's too many Giant fans and there's too many media members that think that it's a carnival act. And the Giants are not in a position to have carnival acts. They need to win
NFL.
games.
This is the NFL. There's no carnival act. This isn't a Sunday morning softball beer league. Well, let's get Joey a plan. Let him put him at first base because he makes good pizza and he'll hook us up after the games.
Yeah. And we got to sell tickets.
Brian Dable.
The tickets are all sold already.
Yeah. Brian Dable likes Tommy DeVito. You could argue that. You could say, what is he looking at? All this. That's a fact. That's a fact. Brian Dable likes Tommy DeVito and sees a lot in him. Okay. They're not bringing him back because he's a North Jersey kid and his mom makes good chicken cutlets. Okay. But some people don't want to hear that, Bob. It is what it is. But getting back, hey, the only thing look, like I just said, I think they're going Hunter or Carter. That's the feeling I'm getting, especially after today. But here's the X factor. I shouldn't say X factor, but tomorrow they have a private workout with Shedeur.
Mm-hmm.
Unscripted. Okay? He's going to get in front of Dable, and Brian's going to be ripping off this and that, and Shedeur is going to be showing off this route, that route. What do you do here? All that stuff. Look, if Brian Dable, for all we know, Bob, might really, really like Shador Sanders, Joe Schoen, maybe a few other people in the building might say, we have this graded higher. So That's something to keep in mind, okay? We don't know that. At least I don't know that for a fact. That especially after tomorrow's workout, of course they have an idea with Shedeur. It's not like tomorrow's workout's going to be like, well, we don't like him. Oh, now we do like him. No. But for all we know, Pop, Brian Dable could be very high in standards and want him with the 3rd pick. We will find out in 8 days.
The question is, are they all willing to put their job on the line for Shador Sanders?
That's the question. So that's something with their meetings. And look, they're there. They are there every day from like 7:30 in the morning to 7:30, 8 o'clock at night. And these are all things they discuss. Okay. It's that time of year. These guys are grinding it out in that office all day. And now they're on a plane. They're going to Colorado for Shedeur. They're going to have a workout with Jalen Milroe and Tyler Shuck. So we'll find out in 8 days. But I want to get to something else.
But hold on.
Go ahead.
Let's say let's just say they suddenly re-fall in love with him. You better have a trade partner for Russell Wilson. Maybe it's New Orleans, depending on what happens with this car situation, or somebody. Because I don't think you really want to go to bat with Shador Sanders, Russell Wilson, and Jameis Winston on the roster, and DeVito in the 4-hole?
Me personally, no.
I don't think they do either. I think that would be a set of problems.
So you basically, you think Joe is not bullshitting one iota when he said today, hey, we're very comfortable with the quarterback room. We don't feel it's necessary to draft a quarterback.
Yeah, I do, because I don't think that their socks are blown away.
So do I.
And I don't necessarily see them trading into the first round to get Jackson Dart late in the first round.
I agree.
I think if Jackson Dart's sitting there when their second round pick shows up, that may be a different conversation. But there could be a stud defensive lineman, or there could be another stud player that they need help at that position where, the other thing is like Giant fans talking about, well, just do what I got to just wait for Arch.
Yeah, like it's going to be planned out.
Well, wait a second. He may not come out next year.
We don't even know if Archie's going to come out.
Right. Correct. He may not come out next year.
His uncle did what, 4 years in Tennessee, right? Peyton? What did Peyton do? All 4 years, yeah.
Well, he decided to stay. The Jets thought they had him. Listen, the Giants. The Giants under Gettleman, Chris Pettit, who was in charge of the director of college scouting, they were in love with Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert was going to be the replacement for Eli Manning. That's who they wanted to be the guy. Absolutely. And then Justin Herbert's brother decided to go to Oregon and play at Oregon. And Justin Herbert said, you know what? I got one more year of eligibility. I'd love to play college football with my brother. I'm staying. Excuse me. Chris Pettit's face hit the floor that day. I'll never forget being in the building the day that was announced. So you can't plan a year from now or 2 years from now for Arch Manning. He might get hurt. Who knows what's going to happen to him?
Pop, I mean, not for nothing. I get it, the pedigree and all that, but we don't even know if he's going to play well next year. Relax, everybody.
Of course, 2 years ago, everyone thought that Quinn Ewers was going to be a guaranteed first-round pick.
We don't know. Let him. He's going to be the starter next year for Texas. Let's see what happens.
All right, you said you had to ask me something else.
I had to ask, but I just want to run this by you because I find this fascinating, Bob. Okay.
Dig on me.
All these private workouts, right? Giants are doing 3 tomorrow, next few days. Teams bring these kids in the building and all that. And then there's a few teams out there. I believe the Rams are one of them, where they come out and they say, "Nah, we don't want no private workouts. We're good." What? Kids coming in the building? Nah, we're good. We've seen enough of them at the combine. We've seen enough film on them. We don't have to visit them. I find that amazing, Bob, because
they didn't use any of their in-person 30 visits?
They didn't. I don't believe the Rams used one. And they don't do private work. Sean McVay doesn't do any of these like what Dable's doing tomorrow, and a lot of teams do these private workouts. And there's a few teams out there that I just read the other day, like, nah, we're good. We don't have to bring them to build.
Well,
we don't have
the Rams with McVay and Les Snead, I think they were one of the first teams that consistently don't go to the combine.
Right. So I just find that amazing, Bob, that when you hear like even Shane, obviously I was there today with Shane, and Shane was talking about the importance of these private workouts. And then these meetings, they bring these kids in the building, and they have these steak dinners, they sit down and get to know them. And it is important. There's no question about it. But I just find it amazing, Bob, that there's some other teams that are like, oh, that's okay. We're good with that. We've seen enough. Or, we watch film on them. Maybe they just met them once at the combine for 15 minutes and they're good to go. And what's your take of that, man? That was mind-boggling to me. Not that they're wrong, Bob. Not that these teams are wrong, the ones that don't. I just find how one end of the spectrum is like teams swear by it, and there's other teams that are like, that's no big deal.
As a wise person once said to me when I was staying up until all hours prepping for my games, and when I was doing Thursday night football, and then I had the Giant game on Sunday. I mean, it was a tight window, turning it around. Or when I have golf tournaments, the week I have a football thing, and I'm staying up until all hours, whatever. And a wise person once said to me, you need how to learn how to work smart. Yes, you work really hard, and you grind, and you work until all hours. But there are ways to work smart. And it's not about just working hard. It's about working smart. Just like these teams, you still get these teams on Tuesday nights that sleep in. They got the air mattress, and they're there, around the clock. The Charlie Weiss guys from that era. But now, if you notice, they're not there until 3 a.m. And they do take breaks to have their family come. Like Dable, I think it's Tuesdays, game plan night. I'm in the cafeteria and I'm waiting to leave for the airport or something like that. And all the players and their wives and their kids and the coaches and their wives, the coaches, wives, and kids, they have family dinner on Tuesday nights. That used to be unheard of. It used to be once coaches left for work on Tuesday morning, the wife might see you again on Wednesday night, well after the kids are in bed. But there's a better chance that maybe they'd see you on Thursday after the kids are in bed. And then Friday night would be family night. Dave's got the families coming in for anybody in the football staff. Not just the coaches, but anybody part of the football. They have dinner, and the guys in the cafeteria, they prepares dinners every week. And, there is something to be said about working smarter.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think the Rams are probably ahead of the curve on that. Tony Dungy was one that believed in it. Heck, Dan Reeves was very big on making sure coaches got home at a reasonable hour to see their families. I think it was Tom Landry back in the day with the Cowboys. He would break up the meeting at dinner time so the coaches could go home and have dinner with their families, and then they would come back after that.
Right. I think Dable cuts his staff loose Friday night pretty early, Pop, so they could go home to their families.
Yeah, well, Friday night's usually family night, So, because Saturdays they check into the hotel and all that other stuff, even for home games.
So I want to touch on one other subject before we wrap this up.
Ask me one more.
Travis Hunter. He comes out a couple of days ago and says, hey, if you don't want to play me on both sides of the ball full time, because I believe I could play 100 snaps, don't even bother drafting me. What did you think about his comments?
He's young. He's confident. And sometimes you just don't know what you don't know. And he'll learn fast. The NFL is drastically different than college football. There's no homecoming games. You're not going to be matched up against a kid that's never even going to be signed as an undrafted free agent in the NFL. You're going against grown men on narrow hashes, and you don't just out-athlete everybody. The difference between the guys that make it in the NFL and the guys that are playing in all these spring leagues that have been in camps and stuff like that is not just the physical, it's the mental. And there's no 63-10 games. There's no homecoming games. There's no 2 buys that a lot of the colleges get. It's every week for 17 games. And sometimes it's a short turnaround on a Thursday. And sometimes it's a short turnaround Monday night to Sunday. And he's going to learn. Because remember, he played both ways as an upperclassman. Well, guess what? He's going to be stepping on the field in a body that is still coming off college and has not gone through a true NFL off season of preparing your body. And he's going to line up at wide receiver. And he's going to have a grown 28-year-old man
with kids
going against him. And he's going to feel the strength and he's going to feel the power. Or he's going to go on the other side of the ball and he's going to line up as a DB.
Yeah.
And suddenly there's Deebo Samuel or T. Higgins with his size, and you're going to be in for it all day. Now, I don't know how you go from one side of the ball to the other after a 9-play, 6-minute and 12-second drive in which you're out there running routes. You're also blocking. Remember now, you got to block in the run game. You got to block grown men. You got to block linebackers. You got to block strong safeties that are built like linebackers in college. And now you mean to tell me that after a punt or after you kick a 46-yard field goal and then they do the, dynamic kickoff thing, that you're going to be back out there and now you're going to be going against the best receiver after you just ran routes? It's not feasible. And as Pat Kerwin said on the Sirius show, he's like, look, how many rookies come in and actually have mastered the NFL? None. They all go through growing pains. And what do they all talk about? Man, I can't believe how long the season is. You get to Thanksgiving, and they're like, man, our college season is normally over. We still have 7 weeks left. Yeah, hello. So doing that on both sides of the ball full time, it's
not going to happen.
No, and Pat Kerwin said it. He's like, first master one side of the ball. You mastered it in college. It's going to be like getting a PhD in football from a football standpoint, because everybody knows the defenses are way more complex. The offenses are way more complex. Everything is way more complex in pro football. So now you got to master that. How are you going to master both at once? I believe that there will be opportunities for him to be on both sides of the ball in NFL games as a rookie. But the full-time stuff, I think teams are just laughing at that. I don't think anybody's scared off by those comments. I'll quit before I play for a team that's not going to play me full-time on both sides of the ball. Did we lose Biz? Biz is frozen in time. I mesmerized him. I hit him so hard, I got him frozen. Wow, this is the first time we've really had all kinds of technical issues. Lindsay, you got to let me know here. We're live. This isn't taped and edited or whatever. We're live in my trattoria. I think I got to just close this out. Oh, Lindsay's getting him. He froze. I thought I overpowered him with such an argument that he couldn't deal with it. And I left him dumbfounded. Oh. He's got a blackout where he lives. Somewhere in Jersey, way west. All right, Lindsay, I think I should just close it out. If he has a blackout where he lives, I don't think he's jumping on anytime soon. All right, I'm going to close it out. I want to thank the great and future Hall of Famer Patrick Peterson, who loves his pasta and who is a chef in his own right. And just like all professional athletes, when they take up other sports or things, they usually master it. I'm assuming Patrick will become a master pizza maker. I want to thank Leigh Mayock for joining us. Believe in Eagles podcast. I want to thank the guys in Staten Island, Frank and Sal's Italian Delicatessen, for their unbelievable pizza dough. I paid for it, but I'm giving them a shout out. Galbani, mozzarella, contandina tomatoes, and all the other great stuff. Plus the Rodney Strong tonight. It ain't Camus like Patrick, but it works. I got all kinds of issues. I need a new camera. Hey, we'll be back next week. Get you ready for the draft. And as Biz would like to say, chin chin. We hope you enjoyed the cooking lessons, the video. Give yourself a shot in the kitchen. Take chances. That's why I don't bake. Cook, you can mingle with the ingredients. Baking, you have to be exact. That's why I like to cook. You can approximate. So for Chris Bisignano, Lindsay, our producer, want to thank Leigh Mayock, Patrick Peterson for joining us, Bob Papa. Thanks for joining us for this edition of the Mangia Cast.